Hey, welcome, friends. This is your weekly reading for the week of January 5th. And I'm going to be drawing our two cards, one for what the energy of the week is, what we're being met with, and then also how to, got a little jumpy one. We're going to put that to the side. And what is the energy that is supporting us or for us to tap into to move in balance with the energies that are collectively around us. So let's see. The energy of the week, financial security. Okay. And how to connect with that, cut ties. And then we have this little friend that popped out, divine guidance. Okay, so here we go. This is from the Talisman Oracle deck, and this particular card of financial security has a lot of symbolism in here. And one of the things that I know is really front of mind for a lot of people in the beginning of the year is taking a look at home. We just had this full moon in Cancer, which really highlights our sense of relating, right? Whether that's with relationships, friendships, romantic relationships, whatever that is. But also, the crab is very much, about home and safety. And when I think about financial security, I think about these thoughts that sometimes arise because there's something that we are trying to create security around, safety around, and so this week is bringing us maybe a theme about moving in the direction of building a little bit more structure in order to tap into the resources that you need. Whether that is something that you have been thinking about for this year for yourself. Maybe this relates to a new job or a new home. Maybe you're thinking about moving or redoing something in your home. This is definitely a card that is highlighting all of those aspects that require the money, the resources. So there is a little bit of a highlight this week on what it is that you need to take care of yourself and your financial safety and security. And with this card being, sorry, it gets a little fuzzy, but cutting ties. I think about, a lot of financial coaches and people that are more financial strategists advise to look at where your spending is and to do budgets, to cut back. And one of the things that, this can be very helpful, of course. Sometimes the mindless spending, whether that is, a little treat here and there, it can add up. I'm not saying don't treat yourself. I have a Taurus rising. I'm all about the treats. And I have to remind myself that sometimes I don't need to have a treat just because I'm facing the wild in the world, right? Sometimes I do, though. But cutting ties is something that is important in order to make space, make room for what you want to bring in, right? So if there are things in your life that maybe are occupying energy, resources that are not allowing for growth in a certain area, that is more how I like to look at it. I like to look at it from an energetic lens. Maybe it's some subscriptions that, you don't use very often, or perhaps they're not aligned any longer with your views, or you don't want to support, certain companies, things like that, that can be really helpful from an energetic perspective to create space, to create room for actually growing in the direction that you want. And that is, obviously this week we're talking about financial security. So how do you, you know, eliminate some unnecessary spending, or perhaps there are things that you need to let go of. Maybe there's stuff in your home that you've been wanting to get rid of or declutter or whatever. This is a time to look at those things and make room. And the divine guidance card feels it's so funny because when I was shuffling, this one jumped out, but it didn't feel like this was the leading one as far as like the collective energy for the week. It really did feel more of like a supportive card. And I love that divine guidance, and I'll show you here, is really about tapping into help. I think if you didn't get a chance to listen to last week's reading, one of the big messages for 2026 is about listening and tapping into our higher self. And so here we have another similar message of divine guidance. And perhaps with all of the things that collectively we have gone through this past year, there have been so many hard changes that we've had to process. And even if you personally have not been impacted, the fact that we are interconnected, we are in this energetic soup, we are impacted by what's going on. The divine channel of guidance sometimes can feel a little staticky. And so I feel like really, really drawn to this cut ties card and divine guidance. And so if you are feeling like, I don't even know where to start, what do I let go of? I think taking some time to do some meditation is really great. Doing some journaling of things maybe that you want to release. Feel like typically when we're going into the new year, we think a lot about what we want to manifest, things we want to bring in. So doing a lot of visioning, which is great, but also, the cutting ties part is important to make space. Again, this is an energetic principle that we can apply to everything, and really listening to what your guidance is right now. So if you are an active dreamer, get the journal and put it next to your bed. If you are someone who tends to get messages from the natural world, from the animals around you, pay attention to that little bird song, or pay attention to any little creatures that come across your path this week. There are messages for you this week that are going to be really important in helping you make the changes that you need in order to have more abundance and prosperity and financial security. So keep your eyes open and listen to those signs. I hope this lands, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Be well.